Hello and welcome to the first of a new series of videos for New York by Night. In this scene, my character, Lutherum Lachesis, is having a ribbon cutting ceremony just outside the new Helios Plaza, where he is being interviewed by Peter Perker of Bark News. Thereafter the ceremony and the ribbon cutting ceremony, he will find himself making his way to the park where he knows he needs to go to do a proper introduction. The scene begins. Oh, yes, please. Next question.
Yeah, thank you. Peter Perker, Bark News Media. If we don't own your soul, we should, and we will. By our calculations, your building seems to be roughly 150 meters long or high. However, by our calculations, the floors don't seem to add up. Could you explain the matter to us?
Well, I don't know exactly what you're trying to imply here, but the biggest thing that you need to know is that most hotels and most big buildings usually avoid floor 13 because that's usually where, all the supernatural hysteria and everything else comes. So that was usually roughly why the floors never seem to match up exactly with what the actual count of the floors of the building is. It's all part of a standard procedure for buildings of this size.
Oh, okay, all right. Next question, if you will oblige, of course. In your statement of your company, you claim Helios is a green company. However, research shows that most of the things Helios does is defense contract related. How, in any way, is this green, Mr. Lachesis?
Lachesis. But anyway, I'll let it slide this time. No, it's still very much green. The defense contract is only what we use to get the company up and going. Primarily, I have a number of buildings and agricultural type buildings where we've advanced to be able to use pesticides and green pesticides to make sure that there's no effect to insect life, there's no effect to any type of harmful chemicals to the rest of the world, but yet still prolonging and preserving the life of food, fresh food and vegetables, to make sure that it tastes just as good as organic, but yet still being everything that Americans know and love.
Oh, thank you. Our final question, of course. What does this particular company, Helios, contribute to the market as a whole? Doesn't the parent company, Ananka Incorporated, pretty much do what you guys are saying you guys are doing? What's the added value, really, of Helios Corporation?
Well, that's a very good question, Mr. Perker. And here's what I can tell you for sure. Ananka Incorporated is primarily the foremost leader in agricultural and primary supplements as far as food supplements and preservatives used in almost everything around the world. Biggest thing being is what Helios brings to the table is it's going to be more so in taking my first green building, which is the Helios Plaza directly behind me, and we're going to take these green aspects and we're going to turn it around and we're going to make sure that everything goes swimmingly. We're going to introduce a series of communications and technologies where we don't have to use so many fossil fuels and stuff like that. We're searching for naturally green and alternative means, and that is what Helios stands for. Helios is supposed to be the separation from food and preservatives, which is where Ananka is primarily, and fertilizing plants and such things like that, to where Helios can expand its branch just past fertilizer and other agricultural products. But also in the last 10 years, we've diversified into many different areas, specializing, like I said, some biotechnologies, and that's to help the medical field. We're going to be expanding into the manufacturing of even better pesticides through the Ananka Corporation. different areas, specializing in all sorts of different branches. And the best thing you can do is just keep a close eye on Helios, and we'll lead you into the future. And remember, as always, the real test of a hero is knowing when the greater good will be served by a non-evil act. To serve the earth, the cost of one's life is the price they must pay. So I will spend hours and hours of my own time in my life making sure that the products that I have go green, and we get that out to everybody else. Thank you very much for your time. No more questions. Thank you. Thank you. And with that, Lutherum walks off to the side, off the podium, back behind a building, pours himself some Kool-Aid. Oh, that's the stuff. I miss Kool-Aid. It's so good. Only can get it in New York. It only tastes best in New York. But anyway, I need to get to the park. So Lutherum starts to walk, making sure his body language and the way that he acts draws no unwanted attention to anything out of the ordinary. As he gets into the not southeast corner, the opposite corner, where he knows that his tribe resides. He knows enough information as to know where he needs to go. He looks around, does what he needs, looks around, makes sure he's not being observed, he pulls out his pocket mirror, he looks into it, and he sides into where he needs to go. Upon entering, I am Lutherum Lachesis, Hamed of Philadoxus, Cleopet Glasswalker. I've introduced myself.
And as you've crossed over to the umbral reflection of the park, the howls of other werewolves ring out as you instinctively understand them, introducing and welcoming you to the sept. And you see two individuals coming from a distance, a couple of the guardians. You're sure there are many more around you, but only some of them come out and nod to you to let you pass. As to you smell that they are werewolves, at least you can scent the rage that is so core of the Garou just flowing through them as one of them comes up with a walking stick. He doesn't look too good, and another a Middle Eastern guy, extremely large. You've seen many Garou are sometimes extremely large by default, but he might be in a different form entirely. The man with the walking stick comes closer. He misses some steps with the stick that he doesn't really need it. It's more for support. As he smiles, you can see the right side of his face. It looks perfect as he tries to keep his right side to look as he introduces himself. Good day. It was Lutherum, right? Yes. Johnny Black of Glasswalkers. Cleve myself. Good to see another one of our tribe coming.
It's good to be here.
Yes. And as he looks over to his right to the Middle Eastern man, this is Aaron, my packmate. He's a strider.
Yeah. Great to have another one of us here.
It's good to be here. It's unfortunate that I had to come in such weird circumstances, but whatever it takes.
It's cool. go to the cairn? As he looks to Johnny.
Have you been in the sept before?
Not sure exactly.
We can take a little tour while we walk along the way, if you want to.
I've got all evening.
Alright
Okay.
then.
Well,
Wanna do some lupus?
not
Oh,
right
come
now.
on, we're in the Umbra right now.
I look like shit.
So?
Uh,
I do not see your point, as Aaron will shift into the gel-like lupus form of the Silent Striders and stare up at Johnny and just wag his tail.
bloody show off. He'll ask some of the spirits to politely take his cane to his grove. I'll actually roll for that. Let's go with that charisma leadership. Plus dice for being the keeper. I get a single success. So it refuses at first, and like, fine, I'll put you up in the list for tomorrow. I'll help you out then. And he gives the walking stick and uses a point of rage to just go through all the forms into lupus. And now that there's no clothing, you can see that the left side of his body is, the fur is coming off, like it's diseased. His muscles seem a bit clanky, but his right side looks completely perfect, like the fur is perfectly balanced. The pattern of colors and that are just sleek and simply, well, the coloring is just as you expect it to be, like brown is brown, black is black, gray is gray, and such. So
Aaron at this point will start running around the lupus form of Johnny and the still Hobbit of Lutherum, his breed form, and he'll just tell him in the Guru tongue, "Come on, come on, come on! I'll show you around."
Lutherum smiles, and he decides, well, you know what? I haven't actually ran with anybody in a very long time. Why don't I? So he looks down, goes through the motions, does what he needs to. As he transforms, it seems that for some reason, upon going into his form, he still managed to maintain a very awkwardly weird appearance for a wolf even. He's a very, I guess you could use the best term, almost adorable looking with his white coat and his blue eyes. And it seems to have some type of a half smirk, and his tail is up and his ears are perked, and he goes down in the play position and he tears off, waiting for the others to follow. Not knowing where he's going, but thinking, you know what, a good game of tag would be a good way to play.
Aaron will rush straight past him. You notice that Aaron... You've heard tales before, probably, of the Silent Striders and their ability to run. Their running speed is almost unmatched in the entire Guru Nation, but Aaron's fast even for a Silent Strider.
and Johnny just makes his way strolling. He doesn't even bother trying to keep up because he knows Aaron can run faster than a bullet if he wants to.
So,
Lutherum
Let's
kind of
see.
whimpers just a bit as she takes off, and he tries his hardest, and he pushes his entire ability to try to move as quickly as he can to try to keep up. He's still at least 2 tails behind.
And he'll make a rest stop at the Umbral reflection of the obelisk. just so he can, just so the other two can catch up to him.
Upon the stop, Lutherum walks over and his ears kind of go back a bit, and he kind of gets curious, starts sniffing an area that he hasn't seen before, just kind of sniffing and trying to take it all in.
The Cleopatra's Needle.
Right. Some funky shit happening right here every 3 months. I suppose. Well, it wouldn't really interest you since you're both not striders. Actually, why don't we show him just around the reflection of the cairn? That'd be awesome. From here on out, I'm forgetting your name. Lutherum. Lutherum can see the energy of the cairn, the sept, the cleansing, warm energy that is from Gaia envelops this place. It is absolutely breathtaking to see.
While the city itself is covered in white, like linens made out of the webs of the pattern spiders, of the weaver spirits, that like there is a line between when the city turns to the area of the central park where it's just pure natural spirits and energy. They sometimes you can see a weaver spirit trying to make way. Sometimes the other weaver spirits stop it, but at times one or two make their way into the sept, and the energies of the will just devour it when it crosses the threshold. And, well, as you know from being Garou for a very long while, anything is exponential in its description in the Umbra, so any plants and that kind of things are more vivid, more lush, larger, depending on the importance that will takes on them. So, let's see. There's the Great Lawn just over the north. It's only for Garou and kinfolk. Usually there's Bonars taking care of that. On the west, we have the main area of the sept that you might see the turtle pond. One of the sept totems hangs out there. Just don't fall into it. They might eat you. No, not really that. Let's see. There's the Belvedere Castle. Fiata hang out there. I think there's the... yeah. Let's make our way through the monument in the south. Just past the turtle pond. And maybe get something to eat in the Swedish cottage.
Oh. Alright. There. As Aaron once again will blaze off in that blaze of glory.
Lutherum continues to be curious, pay very close attention to everything that his others are saying, and follows along happily, realizing that he is quite hungry, actually.
Yes. So yeah, this is the north side of the inner sept. Of course, the whole park is part of the sept and part of the bone. Actually, mostly the east block with the better buildings is hosted by, owned by class walk-up families. And there's some Silverfang as well. So, what else is there that we should go right now?
They make their way to the cottage where they want to go and grab something to eat. They walk in. They enjoy the evening. And the scene will end with the three in the cottage.